subcommittee, and if you would kind of spearhead this so that what we can do is look on. We may not be able to do it for this budget cycle, but I think that it is a long term that we should do, as you also helped with the insurance on that committee, so thank you. So, all right, so I think what we'll do is we will have a little bit extra for the jail subcommittee. If you need more people, let me know, Representative Babson. Okay, yes, Representative Umberger.
I'm not sure that, as long as we don't focus just specifically on the jail. I mean, the cost of heating goes across the
Yes, but I
entire
wanted
complex.
to figure out which subcommittee to put it
Okay.
into instead of having a brand-new subcommittee. And seeing as I know last year there was a lot of discussion on the fuel in the jail subcommittee, that's why I'm focusing it through there, but it is for everyone.
Okay, just
If
so
that
long as we
is
understand.
too much for the jail committee, you will let me know, Representative Babson, right? Yep, that's what I figured. All right. Okay, so.
I think we can talk about the jail budget in non-public later on.
Yes.
Couple of items.
Yes, we will do that. I have that list, and we will.
Right
do
now
it.
it
But
stands
right now,
at
it's 4.8%
4.8%.
increase, but we will be going.
Roughly
in-
153,000.
Okay. Okay, we go to the farm.
Okay, the farm is at 0.4% increase. Again, that's 30 cents per hour. Basically, that's it for the farm.
Okay, and we're not doing you're not envisioning doing an awful lot different with the jail, with the farm as we're doing this year?
Right.
Okay.
Cooperative extension remains the same.
Yeah.
If you look at interest, the new bond is $795,594. We can't touch that with the money left over, but we can touch the principal, which is down under the long-term debt. And I would suggest that you take some action on that to reduce that.
That would cut it down from 20 years to 19 and 11? No. What would happen is we would just take a chunk of the principal, and then the rest of the 20 years would decrease a little. Is that
No,
what
what would
happened?
happen is that principal payment
Mhm.
would be paid out of the proceeds from the bond itself, and it wouldn't come out of taxes.
Oh, okay.
Just the 1 year thing.
All right.
As long as there's money left over from the proceeds of the bond,
Mhm.
you can make the principal payment. Use
Okay.
that as a source of revenue instead of taxes.
Okay, that this is, okay, comes out of revenue instead of taxes. Okay, that's good. Representative Merrill?
Yeah, just to straighten me out a little bit on this bit. On your principal payments, is this money going to be used each month towards the principal for that month, or are you just flat paying down the principal so you'll have a lower amount and pay it off quicker?
No,
No
you
what?
use that the revenue from leftover money from the proceeds to make that payment. So in the revenue, it would reduce the tax amount. It would be additional revenue. But it doesn't, we have.
So it's a one payment thing? One
Right,
payment, okay,
right.
that was really my
Right.
question, I guess.
Okay, Representative Alden?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for Kathy Gary. Just so I follow this, because you were saying the proceeds and the revenue, are we talking about
Balance.
the amount of money from the bond that we've underspent?
Yes,
So it's essentially that $2 million under budget
yes.
number that we've discussed earlier, that instead of to take that money, in a sense, and pay the payment, this payment with it. So it would bypass our budget, and we could do that legally. Right?
Well, it would be in the both. It would show in the expense, and the proceeds would be put in the revenue.
Okay, so that's why you're talking about revenue.
Right.
Okay, now I understand why you're using that nomenclature. Okay, so but essentially though, what they're discussing, or what we're discussing, is the idea of using this money to make a payment in lieu of earning it, bottom line, this is from taxes. But This is also money that we were having in consideration for the renovations necessary at the old nursing home building as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, so we're talking about, you know, in that, as we heard last meeting, was they, with contingencies, was somewhere between 1.5 and 1.7 was the plan kind of put before us, although that has not been finalized or anything. That could come down, but I just want to bring forth to delegation that we're kind of talking about using that money two different ways now,
Yeah.
is essentially what I'm.
There may be a third way.
Yeah, there may be a third other way.
Well, actually, no, there's only two ways.
Well,
And
there's two
I-
ways that we can use it, but there's three areas that we can use it.
Right, exactly, right, yeah.
Yes, Representative Merrill.
Yes, maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, correct me, but it sounds to me like we're gonna use this payment to make a one-time payment on our principal.
Yep.
Which will make our budget look good this year, but it'll shoot right back up next year, so what's the point?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we have to, you will eventually have to use all the proceeds.
You get 3 years to use it.
3 years,
You have to spend it for something?
yes.
3 years,
Yes.
within 3.
So that, let me
It just
see.
looks like it, I mean, maybe I'm, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
It just looks like the way it's being explained to me. It's like a move that's being done to make the budget look good for this year. Am I correct?
You could look at it that way.
Huh?
You could look at it
That's
that
all I
way.
want to thank you. Huh? Well, next year it'll go back up again, but it'll make it look good this year. But we're still in bad shape next year.
However, we're only at a 1.17 instead of the 2 million from last year. Now what happens is you're phasing in the badness, I think is what you do.
But the payment next year
It's gonna be
would
some-
be the same as the payment this year.
Yep.
Except we're using different money to pay for it, right?
Yep.
We're not taking it out of that. I know,
We
okay.
can do that.
Well, I think we ought to do it this year.
We'll have to have that discussion, and you can put it down on a piece of paper so that we'll be able to figure that one out. This is a proposal here in the long-term debt. Doesn't mean that that's gonna stay, but that is a proposal, and we can have more discussion on that. And there's one thing is, when you talk about proceeds, that's the money that is under budget. Is that the under budget money?
The balance we have left over
The
from the new
balance.
nursing home.
From that, and that's what you're calling the proceeds. And that balance that we have from, say, we got $23.5 million. We spent so much, we have $2 million that we have not spent. You're telling me we need to spend that within 3 years.
Yeah.
That is the terms of the borrowing
In the law.
and the law. Oh, okay, all right,
That's why I gave you a copy of what
okay, all right,
Attorney
thank
Barnes provided.
you. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay,
I
we
was a
can
little
move along
confused and
then.
probably still am, so.
The regional appropriations on page 19.
Yep.
There's no
Thank you,
change.
David. Have a good day.
There's no change in the regional appropriations, and packets should be available from each of those.
Yes, they were here on our desks.
The Carroll County Convention, there's no change there. Capital expenditures, you had approved $60,000 last year. We have spent $24,000. We're going to spend at least another 11 for the panel. The $24,000 was for the lights. The panel has been done, and we'll be getting a bill on that, so we'll have a small balance left over in that figure.
And so we're doing more IT. This is along with,
We have a plan that was put forward as to priorities. We need to change the server in this building. Would be done in 2012. 2013, there's another item that's in the budget, it's considerably less. It's like 6,000 or 8,000. But there's a plan to change over our computer systems,
okay,
to bring them up to date.
all right. When we go into administration building, the subcommittee can look at that, okay? All right. And the annex.
So at the end, our budget for, our operating budget is up 6%.
What, tell me what the annex is, the old nursing home. That's what you're talking about. This, I go back to, we did our capital expenditures, now we go to the Mountain View Nursing Home Annex.
Yes,
That's what you did, that's what we need to do to keep that from freezing.
right.
Okay,
It's a minimum
minimum,
that we think we can keep it.
all right. Any further, Representative Umberger, is that your question?
You're right.
Yeah, okay. So overall, it's a 6% increase from
Correct.
our budget of last year to what you're proposing this year. Okay. Let's take a 5-minute break before we go into the nursing home. And let's see. All right, Commissioners, let's now go, we're on page 21 of the expenditures going into the nursing home, and let's see how we're doing with this. And
Okay, if I
thank
could
you.
go very quickly to the bottom line, just to talk about it, and then we'll go back through.
The bottom line of the nursing home, so
The
that
bottom
we're
line
on
of the
page.
nursing home is up 3.7%.
Wait a minute, and we're on page 32?
22.
Page 30,
Go to page 30, and overall, the enterprise fund is up. You just-
$426,010.
What percent?
What was your percentage again?
3.7%. If we look at the revenue, the increase in revenue for the nursing home, which Sandy has done an excellent job, she and her accountants over there, it's up, the revenue is up 9.8%, for a total of $881,081. So if you look at the
Say that again.
$881,
Yeah?
$881,081 is the revenue.
So the number is going to be on the revenue sheet, which is page 5 of our revenue budget workshop, work page. The increase in the revenue is 881,081.
Correct.
All right, so
Correct.
that we are increasing, even though we have $795,000 that the state's giving to us, we are doing 881,000 extra from revenue, and
That's the revenue, and then the increase in expenses. The difference between the two is $455,000, which means that we're going in the right direction.
yeah,
We're bringing in more revenue than we are increasing the budget by $455,000. Bottom line, even with the new nursing home bond, the nursing home's gonna cost us $1.8 million.
say that again.
Bottom line for the nursing home is gonna cost us $1.8 million. It was 2.2 or 2.4, but you gotta keep in mind, we now have that $2 million, or the principal and interest bond for the nursing home is in our budget. If we didn't have that in there, we would be in really good shape.
Okay, Representative Algren.
Commissioner Swanson,
Okay, we're talking about bottom lines in general. Go ahead.
that payment comes from somewhere else in the budget. I mean, maybe you've included that in there, but I'm just cautioning that I don't believe it includes the principal and interest payment on the bond. That 1.8 million deficit is just the difference between the enterprise revenue.
It's in our budget. We'll get to it. I'll show you where it is, but if you looked at the total expense of $11,644,000,
And that's on
And
page
30.
page 30, okay.
and if you look at the total revenue